Now, today we deal with a story that cuts deep into the fight for dignity and sovereignty here in South Africa. 7 Chinese nationals have been sentenced to a lengthy prison terms for trafficking nearly 100 Malawian nationals, including 3 children, into South Africa. Now, these men apparently lured desperate people with false promises, smuggled them illegally, and then forced them into slave like labor in Ekurhuleni. Now, this case isn't just about criminals court, but it's about foreign exploitation on African soil and the ugly reminder that even today, in 2025, Africa's people are treated as commodities. Now, the High Court in Johannesburg handed down its ruling. The accused were found guilty on 25th of February 2025, and a company, ironically called Beautiful City, was also convicted. Now, each man received 20 years for human trafficking and 10 years for kidnapping and also 22 years for contravening labor laws, plus 3 years for facilitating the finances. Now, the judge ruled that these sentences would run concurrently, meaning they'll serve an effective 20 years each. Meanwhile, the company was fined 300,000 rands. How were they caught? Well, in 2019, police got a tip off about an illegal immigrant being housed at a business. And when law enforcement raided that factory, they actually uncovered more than 100 workers enslaved in horrific conditions. Let's watch.
See this? This is the medical report. This is my mother. Stroke. You see this? CVA. And now she might got a secondary stroke because her blood pressure is very high. You know, there's never human trafficking, I tell you. This is just a factory. And they treated those workers, those Malawians, very bad because this boss, it's all his idea. You know, he doesn't allow them to get out this factory, and he just sending them orders. These take his orders, and then the orders is getting to those Malawian workers.
Now, investigations revealed that the workers were smuggled into South Africa without papers and packed into trucks, then scattered in factories across different areas. They were not paid minimum wages. Apparently, they worked without protective gear, and some even suffered serious injuries on the job. Now, imagine people risking everything for a chance at dignity and only to be treated as disposable tools. It's slavery dressed up in modern clothes, a perfect one. Let's watch.
Have become a destination as South Africa for human trafficking because of various reasons, including that of our porous borders, our socio-economic factors, and as well as our geographical area. So, as the NPA, we welcome this sentence. It will go a long way in bolstering our fight against human trafficking. It is also.
Thank you. Today, for us as government, but also as the. But I want to say to our people as well, they must know that we are taking these issues very serious. Government is working every day towards rooting out all these issues. Many of these companies, as 2 weeks back, were in Free State, and the expectation was that they are just going to pay money and bribe people, then they would get away with murder. Even on this case, we have heard that the expectation was that they are going to bribe officials, they are going to bribe whoever, and they will get away with murder, because it's what has been happening. And I want to say it again, the era of impunity has ended. We need to save and protect our country and protect our workers in this republic.
Now, senior state advocate Valencia Dube argued for harsher sentence and reminding the court that human trafficking is not just a crime, but it's a scourge. She highlighted that, number one, it worsens unemployment in South Africa, and it actually robs South Africans of jobs while exploiting vulnerable migrants. And it also undermines our economy and global credibility, and even contributing to South Africa's grey listing internationally, right? So The court eventually agreed, calling this a serious ongoing criminal process. The judge acknowledged the public frustration, particularly with foreign nationals setting up operations to exploit both locals and fellow Africans. And I believe this case shines a light on a larger crisis, which is human trafficking is rampant across Africa. Young women are trafficked into sex work. Children are forced into labor. Men are lured into dangerous jobs with false promises. And who suffers the most is the poor Black Africans, the vulnerable communities, the migrants who are desperate for survival. This isn't just crime. This is neo-slavery. And too often it's facilitated by foreign networks who think that they can exploit our borders and our weaknesses and our people with no consequences. This case is a victory, yes, but I think it also exposes how foreign nationals, especially those with money, have felt so comfortable exploiting Africa. Because, I mean, think about it. 7 Chinese men set up a shop here. They trafficked nearly 100 Malawians and thought that they would actually get away with it. Why? Because for too long, Africa has been seen as a playground for foreign profit, where our laws can be bent, our people are exploited, and our dignity is sold. And let's be clear, the victims were Malawian, but this is a South African problem too. And let's be clear, the victims were Malawian, right? But this is a South African problem too, because if they can traffic Malawians today, tomorrow it will be South Africans. I mean, it is already happening, right? Our continent is not a dumping ground, and not for stolen artifacts, and not for foreign wars, and certainly not for human slavery. Yes, 20 years is a heavy sentence. Yes, it sends a strong message, but is it enough? The company was fined 300,000 rands. That's pocket change if we're being honest, because what about the reparations for the victims? What about the rebuilding their lives? What about preventing this from happening again? Justice isn't just about locking criminals, but justice is about ensuring that these workers find healing, compensation, and dignity. And here's my final word, right? This case is proof that South Africa can and must defend itself against exploitation. But it also reminds us of how vulnerable we still are to networks that see Africans as disposable. Now, do you believe we must remain vigilant because slavery didn't die? It simply changed its face. And until Africa truly rises united and uncompromising, there will always be vouchers circling. We all know that. Now, I'm Naledi Mfoloe reporting for ADFC. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And while you edit, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me till we meet again. It is bye-bye for now.